How's it going, weaklings? And today I'm going to take you through my full body training session, because when all else fails and you've got nothing you want to talk about, you just film yourself lifting. Heavy RDLs and bench presses on the menu today, and that's going to be the crux of the session. And this is one of 3 full body sessions that I do a week, which is the way that I've been training for over the last year and a half, because I'm training and competing in jiu-jitsu multiple days a week and also trying to run a coaching business as well. It doesn't leave me with too much time and energy for lifting. And this is a training setup that's most efficient for me, and when you train consistently and hard enough, it is still more than enough to make a lot of gains. Now, every like and subscribe I get adds 1 kilo to my lift, so make sure that you do it so that not only that you're supporting me, you're actually making me stronger and in turn making the videos more enjoyable to watch, because I'm lifting more weight. So, takes you 2 seconds, make sure you do it. New videos are every Sunday, and even though that's pretty easy to remember, make sure you hit the bell button as well. So exercise number 1 and the main focus of the session is RDLs, and I've got all the boring warm-up stuff out the way and I'm starting to work my way up. But just to show you how I get myself ready for pretty much any form of deadlifts, I make sure I get my back and hamstrings nice and loose so I can move pretty fluid. I do some foam rolling just to open everything up, leg kicks, and then some sad cat angry cats. I want to make sure that my core's engaging properly from the start, so I do some dead bugs to get that switched on. And I also want to make sure that my glutes are firing, so I do some hip bridges with squeezing the ball between my legs. And then to finish off, I do some weighted kneel-ups, if you can even call them that, and that's just to mimic that top part of the movement where I'm popping my hips through and I'm really focusing on squeezing my glutes at the top. So the goal of today's session is to get in some good reps at 220 kilos. Last week I done 2, which I really shouldn't have because my hip was a little bit janky and I was just feeling a little bit more tired than usual because I'd been away in Milan and my week was all messed up, and I should have backed off, but I went and done it anyway, and I've done a few not so great reps where I didn't get as deep as I normally like to go, and I let my back go a little bit. Poor decision, but this week we're going to come back, and even if we get 2 better quality reps today, we'll take that as a win. But obviously it would be nice to go and get the 3. Now, the way that my sets are structured is I'm doing 4 ascending sets, which means that the weight's getting heavier on each set and the reps are staying the same each time. It's a total fallacy that doing half decent volume on the way up to a top set will tire you out significantly. May take that little edge off you, but for the stage of training I'm at just now, I'm not going all out, all for broke. I'm still wanting to keep a decent amount of volume in. So the way that I've warmed up today is I've obviously just done however many reps with the empty a bar. I've done 5 or 6 at 60, 5 or 6 at 100. Then I get into like what I would class as my main working sets, which is 4 at 140, 3 at 180, 3 at 205, and then 220 at the end. So this current set is now going to be 205, hopefully get a smooth 3. And the overarching game plan, I want to get 3 at 220, which is by far and away the most I've ever done. And before this current training block, my heaviest ever was a few reps at 180. And then after that, I can test where my max is. And then after that is when I'll really start to go for broke and do very little to no volume on the way up and just trying to get me warm enough for a top set. And the reason that I don't just do top set and back off sets all the time is because you just simply don't accrue enough good quality training volume doing that for long-term progress. You do that type of training to get the short-term gains when you're going for broke and going for maxes, not as just a generality. So that felt not bad, and there's no reason why I don't think I can get 220 for 3. And I know another thing that you're thinking while you're watching this is how the hell is he RDL in over 200 kilos without any straps and he's just raw dogging it in his bare hands? Now, because I have done grappling sports my full life, specifically judo, that is just a sport that involves entirely around grip strength. Now I do jiu-jitsu where gripping is obviously a massive part of that too. Because of said sports that involve a lot of gripping, I never use straps, so I can make sure that I'm always training my grip. It then kind of turns into a little bit of a cause and effect thing, that because I don't ever need to use straps, I don't use straps, which then makes my grip stronger for me not needing to use straps. And I just personally think it's a little bit more alpha when you do stuff without straps. Anyway, 220, game time. Let's fucking do it. Oh, felt like I let my back go a little bit there on the third one. I will review the footage and see how it looked, but that's good. I'm happy to get that ticked off, and I knew the minute that I pulled that out that I was strong there. So as long as VAR doesn't ruin everything as usual, I will be pretty chuffed with that. So next on the menu is bench press, and me and bench press I've never really got on. It's always been one of my weaker exercises, but recently we actually started getting on quite a wee bit, and I was pleasantly surprised at how quick and how strong I managed to get my bench press back up to. I done a 135 single a couple months ago, and that's been my heaviest in about 2 years since I really started focusing on jiu-jitsu training. And I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. And then since then, it has just been a bag of shite. Today I'm working up in doubles, and I am heading up towards 127.5 for 2. But again, last week I was a little bit out of sync, so I'm hoping that this week we come back strong, no excuses, and get that double so I can get back up to 130. So I'm doing ascending sets of doubles. After my piss about warm-up sets, I've done a set of 4 with 80, a set of 3 at 100, and then on to 3 doubles at 115, 122.5, and then 127.5. So I forgot to press record there on the 115 for 2, but it felt far too heavy for what it should be. So we'll see how the 122.5 goes. Hopefully it moves a little bit smoother, but I think I may adjust my working sets. Unless this happens to fly up like really smooth, then it's going to be pretty pointless me going up and doing the same single, if I can even manage that at 127.5, and I may as well just back off. In 2 days time, I'm due to be doing my dumbbell bench, which I'm training just as heavy as this just now, and that could be the reason, is just having that knock-on effect. So I would rather at least have one of them moving up this week. So you know what, that first one actually moved all right, but I just went a little bit squint. Then I think the second one just slowed down a little bit, and again, I think realistically I probably do have a single at 127.5 there, but it's not really going to achieve much because that'll be like the 3rd time in a row that I've done it. And the sort of rule I try to work off most of the time is the rule of 3, which is give yourself 3 times at trying to get past a poundage, a rep, whatever it is, and then after that you probably do need to change things up a bit. So I think I'll probably just leave it there, and I'll just go and do a wee drop set at like 5 at 110 or something like that, just get some reps in and just save my chest again for heavy dumbbell bench in 2 days time. Now the next exercise we're on to is single arm dumbbell rows, and I've been using these a little bit of an in-between main exercise and secondary exercise. I've been training them low reps, but I've not been pushing the weight too much. I've just been doing straight sets at 4 sets of 4, so just like working with the same weight. But today, because I'm filming on YouTube, we're going to go and we're going to work up, and we'll see how heavy a set of 4 we can do. And I'm using the DIY dumbbell, so I could just be telling you total lies here. So first set 42 kilos, second set 50 kilos. Now we are going to 54 kilos. Now there's a few reasons why I do my single arm rows off the bench like this. And first of all, it's the way that you're going to do it the strictest. When you're doing it standing and working off the rack, you're likely just going to use a lot of body English, using your knees, using momentum, basically turning it into like a wee half-arsed upright row. Whereas here, when you've got your knee and hand fixed in position on the bench, it almost forces you into keeping that close to 90-degree angle, which is really what you want to get the most range of motion out of your rows. And also as well, it just helps support my back a little bit more rather than having to hold myself in mid-air, which can sometimes be a little bit nippy. And because I'm going heavy today, I'm going to belt up just to be safe. Once again, we're raw dogging it without any straps. 54 was easy enough. We're going to go up to 58 and hopefully get a set of 4 there. So 58 for 4 nailed is my top set. Not my strongest by any means, but hopefully you think it's strong enough. And maybe even strong enough that you want to get involved in my coaching, which you can do very easily by filling out the coaching inquiry form linked in the description box below. Please don't worry, it's not a case where you just fill out a form and then are asked to pay a shitload of money without even actually speaking to me. It's just to let me know that you're interested, then that way I can get in touch with you and we can have a chat and make sure that you're going to be a decent fit for my programme, and it's only after that point will we get into the weeds of pricing and stuff. Because I'll be totally honest, I don't want to just help anyone. I only want to help people who I think are going to be a good fit for me as a coach. So fill that out if you're interested, and then I'll get back to you double time and we can have a little chat. Now next up is floor press, where we're doing 4 sets of 5. They're a great exercise to build big strong triceps and specifically help the lockout off your bench press. And they're also a pretty good sport specific exercise as well for a lot of sports, and especially a sport like jiu-jitsu where you are pushing from the ground quite a lot of the time. Just working up to a top set of 102.5. Although my barbell bench press hasn't went the way that I want today, these are feeling okay and have been the last few weeks, and I'm getting strong on them. 102.5 for 5. Wee bit shaky parts there, but other than that, we're all good. And I think I'm kind of close-ish to the most that I've ever really done on them, so I can't really complain too much. Now I'm on to seated side lat raise. Now I've been doing 3 sets of 10 on these, and last week I done 3 sets of 10 with 15. However, the next jump I've got here is 17.5. 2.5 kilos on a small muscle group like this with these weights is actually quite a lot. It's over 15%, and that would be the same as me going from a 220 kilo RDL this week straight up to 250 kilos next week. Like, it doesn't seem like that big a jump, but it actually is. So rather than like straight head to 10 across my 3 sets straight away, what I want to do is I just want to build myself up slowly over the weeks. So this week, if I can get 3 sets of 7, the next week 3 sets of 8, and the next again week 3 sets of 9, building up to 3 sets of 10. It's still progressive overload, but it's just doing it at a much more manageable rate. I've obviously not done any direct shoulder work this session, and especially not my side delts. So putting these in, best exercise you can do to build your shoulders. In terms of hypertrophy, not so much strength because we obviously are using lighter weights. And to finish off, I'm doing some seated bicep curls, which you're not getting to see because that's getting done slightly different today and it's getting filmed for Instagram. So cheap plug, go and make sure that you follow my new Instagram page. The powers that be attacked the volcano and shadow banned my old account, so I've got the new one up and running, and again it'll take you 2 seconds to go and follow it, and it's just going to give you even more top class content if you're not watching it already. I'm 99% sure that this video you're watching now will be out after the carnage that I'm doing with my biceps, so you're going to have to go scroll, give it a watch and give it a like as well. I've disconnected the mic and I don't know what I've done, but because it's Thursday we're finishing off with First Trap Thursday. I'm clocking in around 90 kilos at the moment, and I'm holding it pretty well, even though I could do with a shave. Feeling strong, feeling lean. Hopefully I can get this mic fixed for the next video, but that's all from me. Like and subscribe, watch the videos that may or may not come up here, and I'll catch you later.